get out of here without dying, and then we'll start. Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Be Local podcast. Chris.
Kim.
Oh, you remembered to speak this time, right? So essentially, we are going to start as we mean to go on. We're going to be asking all the important life questions. And the first one, which we're going to be asking every guest, what's your death row meal going to be? What would be if you were alive for one more day and you had one more meal? You can have like a starter, a main, and a dessert, and a drink. But you need to be specific. You can't just say, "Oh, my mum made me the sandwich once I liked." Like you've got to have a specific meal.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, if we have a guest on and I asked them that question and they said, "Oh, I'd have a walnut salad," I'd be like, bollocks! I don't trust a word that comes out of your mouth now.
Oh, this would sound really good.
It's got. Well, I think we should rate their choices out of 10.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Because if someone was like, "Oh yeah, I'll have avocado on toast," I'm like, "You'll have a quick, swift walk home."
We're not even interested in your opinion.
Exactly.
What? Avocado and toast?
You think that's a good?
Oh, I love it.
Oh,
That poached egg on top, bit of crispy bacon.
well, avocado is what I imagine that, if you like have a hot, sweaty day and like the cheese in between your toes. It's like it's got the same consistency. Do you know what I mean? It's like mushy and fucking yellow. No, thank you.
You're definitely eating them too late. You need to get them at the perfect ripeness and they taste great.
They cost about 16 quid each.
Oh, but they're so good, they're worth it.
They're not worth it.
You get healthy fats in them.
Do I look like anything about my fat is healthy? There's nothing healthy about this fat. No fucking way. So, come on, what are you having for a starter?
I would have like the pork belly starter.
Oh.
Like crispy pork belly.
Like salt and pepper?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that sounds good
And
to
then
me.
I'd probably have like halibut with dauphinoise potatoes with a sauce over the top.
I made dauphinoise potatoes yesterday for the first time.
Did you? So good.
They were nice, but I choked on a piece of garlic. Well, I thought like you'd just get the whole clove and then just smash it a little bit and then let the flavours come out. And then
Like, just blend it up.
where am I going? This way. Why am I going this way? Is this the
That's
right way?
White House, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. Listen to it.
So what would your meal be?
What dessert you having first? What drink?
Oh.
Come on.
Oh, drink. Oh, do you know something? I'd probably have a Diet Coke. I'm that sad.
Oh, no.
Yeah, with ice.
Oh, God.
And then for pudding, cheesecake.
Cheesecake. Definitely a cheesecake.
Yeah.
You can't not have a cheesecake.
Yeah.
Cheesecake's kind of the most important part of a
An
dessert
entire meal?
menu.
Yeah.
Well, like if you get a
But you're
menu
not
and there's
even
no cheesecake of the day, you're
Yeah.
like, what are you even
You're
doing?
not a real restaurant.
Yeah, exactly.
But a decent cheesecake.
You might as well just be like a greasy spoon cafe. You're just serving like that bacon where the fat is so thick that you can't see any meat, and then they don't cook it right either. It's like it's been microwaved.
You get to chew for a while.
Aye, they've cooked it on a radiator. That's not the one.
One of the fly lights.
Aye.
Lights. Yeah.
So yeah, for me, I think I'd have maybe a prawn cocktail. Or actually, I was at the Now's. Is it the Now's?
Yeah.
What's the one in Macduff?
Now's.
I was there the other day. Oh my god, they had a Cullen skink risotto.
Oh, I've had that.
Oh, it
It's
was amazing. Oh, it was
Yeah.
so good. And they had like these crispy potato things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'd quite have that.
Yeah.
Or a prawn cocktail.
Yeah.
For main, I'd have like a rosemary and thyme lamb shank.
Oh.
I had one at Seafood Arms in White Hills once.
With a red wine jus.
I don't know what was with it. It was incredible. It was the best meal I ever had. And I went and asked, this is way before COVID, I asked if I can go and speak to the chef because it was that good. And I offered him money. I offered him money for the recipe. And he wouldn't give it to me.
Really?
And now he's moved away and I can never have it again.
You should BBC Food it on Google and see what Gordon Ramsay says.
This, honestly, I don't think Gordon Ramsay can make one this good. It is the best meal I've ever had in my life.
Really?
Absolutely incredible. And I don't know what it was. It was just...
Is that the chef that worked at this?
I think it was like Moroccan or something. I don't know if he worked there full time, but he was an incredible... Can you stop playing with my buttons,
Yeah,
please?
sorry. It's an accident.
But yeah, I don't know what it even came with. I was so like wrapped up in this lamb. So I've got no idea. I think it was like mash and veg. That'll do. I'll just have that, but I want the lamb. And then for pudding, I'd have cheesecake. What's your favourite cheesecake?
It depends. If it's a really heavy meal, I like a lemony cheesecake.
Alright.
But if it's not a really heavy meal, I love like chocolate or toffee or caramel. Or...
I'm not a fan of chocolate cheesecake. Like, it kind of isn't real cheesecake. It's just like chocolate mousse on biscuit.
Yeah,
It doesn't taste like...
The biscuit bit's the best.
Oh yeah, that's just digestives and butter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you said, I just want a pack of digestives and like a bowl of melted butter? Like, just smash them up and mix them in, just eat it. You'd be crucified. Like, you couldn't get away with that.
No.
Oh,
What
God.
would you drink?
I don't know. I was in KFC earlier and I saw a drink that I've not ever had, but the idea of it makes me excited. And I'd already ordered, and I went queued up again. So
What is it?
it was like a watermelon and lime chilled cooler. It was called, or something like that. And it was like a really I just looked about the pictures
Is
of
it
it.
slushy?
It was like, imagine when a slushy melts.
Yeah.
It looked
okay.
like that.
That sounds quite nice.
Oh, it looked so good. But
Yeah.
I'd like something watermelon or lime or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I just love watermelon. But yeah, I think that would be my death row meal.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I mean, in fact, they might give me two. I'd have a steak as well.
There's no way you could manage that all in one sitting though.
Well, I was speaking to someone about it the other day, and I said, "What would your death row meal be?" Oh, I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat. Like, you'll be dying. Like, you're gonna die.
You're not going to care if you're bloated. You have to unbutton your trousers.
Aye. Oh, I don't want to be bloated for when I croak it. Like, what? Oh, I'd have heartburn. You'll have more than heartburn, sweetheart. Don't worry about it.
But then, see if you're an emotional eater, like the feeling of fullness is probably what you want to die
Aye.
with, isn't it?
Yeah, but see, the thing is, I'm the one of those sort of people where I eat and then I feel guilty.
Yeah.
Because I know I've eaten 2 people's worth of food. No, I generally, I've been trying to
Or
eat
somebody
less.
starving because you've
Aye,
had too many.
aye. I know, I've been trying to eat less. But I still feel bad every time I eat because I'm like, I'm adding to the problem. Do you know what I mean? No, in my luck, that's how I'm going to die. I'm going to choke on something. I'm going to not chew up.
That's the ultimate way to die, though, isn't it? I've always said that you're laughing so much because you're so happy and you've got something in your mouth and you choke.
No,
you die.
that's not going to be a nice way to die. I just wanted to give our viewers a bit of a view of the sea, but there's
Okay.
like a load of bush in the way. Look at this lovely bush. Weeds there.
Okay.
What brought you to the area?
We followed my grandparents, so they moved up. They bought a house up here the year I was born.
To get away from you.
We lasted a year with it though, and moved up here, and that's how we went. But that was 17 years ago.
Have they ever made a comment that you followed them?
Nah, they love it.
Do they?
They love having us
Oh,
about it. Yeah.
That's nice.
I think they were secretly hoping we'd do it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
They leave a trail of breadcrumbs. We're up here. Hello.
Who brought you up here?
Oh, God. Where do we start?
Do you want to admit that?
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to go into details. No one needs to know that. But, yeah, my previous relationship sort of fell apart, and I kind of got tricked into moving it. I didn't. It's a lie. I told my sister I was coming to stay with her for a couple of days. That was a lie. I wasn't coming to stay for a couple of days. I weren't going back. But I thought, oh, I'll just stay. I thought I'd stay there, sort out a job pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I'm educated, you know. I don't look it or act it, but I have a good education. So I thought, I'll find a job easily. I'll get a place to stay. It'll be no bother at all.
Yep.
I thought my sister lived in Aberdeen. So last I'd heard, she lived in Bucksburn, which is obviously a part of Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Like London, I knew, you know, you got like Euston, you've got Vauxhall, you've got all these different areas in London, and I knew that Aberdeen was the same. You've got Bucksburn, Tillydrone and all that. So I assumed when she said, oh, we've moved to Bam, that they'd moved to another part of Aberdeen. So I spent hours, I got a megabus, bearing in mind. I packed all my stuff into a bag. Imagine putting your whole life into
one bag.
into one bag. Yeah. So I packed all my stuff. I jumped on this megabus, 13. I had a bottle of Jack Daniels with me, which didn't help because I was a bit boozy when I got here. So I didn't really realise until about an hour into the journey that I wasn't going to Aberdeen. And yeah, I ended up in Bath. But I fell in love with the place.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends are always asking me, like, why? Why do you live there? We all live here. You have to travel 7-8 hours to come see us. Why are you living up there? I'm like, because it's nice.
Yeah.
Like, it's quiet.
Yeah.
Life's like at a nice pace.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like
Everything's slowed down a wee bit, isn't it?
everything's back in time a little bit. But it's nice in a good way.
Yeah. It's relaxing and calming though. See the beach, like living beside the sea, it's got to be like the best thing in the whole world. Because like no matter how stressful or anything gets, just going like a walk along the beach or sitting at the beach in your car and hearing the waves and stuff has this like really relaxing effect on you.
Well, funny you should say that. For work, we've had a courtesy car, and it had like soundtracks and it had like calming waves. And I tell you what, when you're driving a car you're not used to in traffic, the calming waves don't calm you down. But the ones by the sea seemed to do it. I remember when I was first up here, and I was in the pub, and there was the ship, the one that's by the sea wall,
Yeah.
and I'd come out for like a cigarette, and I'd be like, shh, shh, and they're like, what? And I'm like, just want to listen to the sea.
Yeah.
And like,
It's so
you
weird.
fucking weirdo. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I'm like, I'm used to like sirens.
Yeah.
I'm used to police sirens.
See as well, do you think though with lockdown and like the whole situation last year, I kind of think anywhere I would rather have been than here. Because like imagine staying in the middle of a city in a tenement building,
oh
or
god.
in like a really like a flat with like 4 other flats and 3 other flats and a shared
You
garden.
got to think in places like London, Aberdeen, there's tower blocks.
Yeah, imagine
Where there's
sitting
like
on top of that.
300 flats, and you've got like a balcony the size of a toothbox. A toothbox? What's a toothbox? The size of a shoebox. And
The size of your teeth.
but yeah, you've got like a balcony the size of a shoebox,
Yeah,
and that's got your washing on,
yeah,
and your kids like play kitchen.
yeah,
Imagine spending that. We are so lucky to have what we have here.
yeah,
And I mean, it's just like, even like this, you couldn't see an area this green, this large, for miles from where I grew up.
yeah.
The nearest beach was like Clacton. I don't know if you've ever been to Clacton. It's kind of like what they imagined a seaside holiday area should be like in the 70s. And it's not been updated since. But we had a caravan there, and I used to love going there, sitting by the beach, take my friends from school.
Yeah.
We'd like throw stones in the sea and just talk absolute rubbish. You know, them like,
Yeah.
oh, would you rather have bread for feet or like sausages for fingers? And we just sit there for like 6 hours out by the sea, just
Yeah.
talking absolute rubbish. And they are some amazing like childhood memories of mine.
Yeah.
And I thought it would. Bearing in mind, like, there was a town called Jaywick, right? And I saw it on this, like, I don't even know what the TV show was, but it was about like the scummiest towns in Britain. No, but it was literally called like Britain's scummiest town or something. And it was this Jaywick place. But I used to go there as a kid, and it was amazing. All the houses looked like sheds, and there was like, I remember there was a fire like late 90s, early 2000s, and they didn't bother repairing nothing. They just left it all burnt down. But we used to go and explore it and stuff, and it was amazing. And to me, I think it was just because of the difference between city life and like being close to the sea.
Yeah. They put a programme out about where I grew up, and I was absolutely mortified because it was literally where I grew up. But because of my mum's job, so she worked with like in like hostels and things like that. So the more like that's all we seen in that area was like drugs and drug abuse and things like that. So it wasn't a nice area for us. So then moving up here, and it was just completely different. But I think every area, it depends what you look for is what you're going to see, because every area's got its good and its bad points. I mean, I'm sure there's bits about where I grew up that people really like, but that's not what I've seen and certainly not that programme portrayed.
I think the thing is, you can find the beauty in anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's a lot often the things that you take for granted
Yeah.
because you're so used to them.
Yeah.
It's like I always say this, like, when people buy their kids hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of presents for Christmas,
Yeah.
if you can afford to, magic. Do you know what I mean? Like, spoil your kids. But when you buy them, like, say, £1,000 worth of presents every year, and then one year coronavirus hits, you put on furlough, you've got no money, and they get £100 worth of presents, and they feel like maybe they've done something wrong.
Yeah.
Or
they're disappointed.
Yeah, they're disappointed because they're so used to getting a new iPad and a phone, or they're getting a new like electric scooter and a bike.
Yeah.
And this year they've got, I don't know, what are those little a shoe. Did you have to share a pair when you were growing up? You have the left one, I'll have the right one. We'll swap next week. And you'd probably, I can imagine that being the case. Not because it had anything to do with your family. Like, I'm not saying that, but I mean, you seem like the sort of person whereas if you did have to share a pair of shoes, you'd scuff yours and then try and swap it with your sister's and think she wouldn't notice that now she's got a left and she had a right last week. That's the sort of thing I can imagine happening. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not a shoe, but like clothes.
Yeah.
Clothes. Like, you're so used to getting clothes all year round.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they're a present.
Aye, at Christmas you get them and you're like, oh, aye, because you get them all the time.
Oh God, I'm getting flashbacks here. A couple of Christmases ago, where I thought it would be. Me and Amy had said to each other, we'll have a £50 limit.
Yeah.
We don't like, don't want to go mental.
Yeah.
We'll set a £50 limit, and I bought this perfume. It was like £56. So she was already £6 over her budget, and I bought her something else. I can't remember what it was, something little. And then I thought, she's been banging on about an air fryer.
Aye.
I'll get her an air fryer. It's like a secret bonus present.
Okay.
Like, we got a £50 limit.
Yeah.
It's like £150.
Yeah.
She's winning.
Yeah.
Did she fucking kick off about getting an air fryer for Christmas?
Because you'd went over the limit.
No, because it was for the house, not for her.
Aye, why? You do not buy kitchen appliances that everybody, or any appliance that the entire house can use for one specific person.
Why? Like, if she wanted a new hairdryer, I've got a new hairdryer. She uses that on the kids, just because I've got no hair.
That's different.
Why is it different? Why is that different? Why is that different?
How would you feel about getting a sofa for your Christmas?
Sofa's a bit crap, but like if I got like a new
what,
TV,
'cause everybody sits
if I got a new TV, I wouldn't kick off.
Yeah.
If I like, I'm
I'm very much against kitchen appliances.
But if
for
it was
Christmas.
on top of what you were expecting, you're expecting a £50 budget, and you'd expect £50 worth of stuff, and you got it as well, would you be like over the moon?
I don't know.
I mean,
That's a tough call.
You'd think with your business though, like, with if you got like a fancy iron, I don't know, would you not be like,
No.
yes?
No.
Not like cleaning that much then.
I can buy that stuff at any point in the year though. I don't want to gift myself with something I would use for the business.
You could buy yourself perfume any time in the year. It's still nice to have it as a gift.
That's a treat because it's over and above, isn't it? An iron's kind of essential, but it depends how much you like ironing.
Depends how much you like to smell nice.
But you don't need it. It's not essential.
Have you seen the size of me in the summer? In the summer, it is essential. You cannot leave deodorant, aftershave, and showering twice a day normally. Get sweaty.
Yeah.
I've
never seen that as essential though. I'd say that's over.
Well, soap's not essential. Deodorant, aftershave,
no,
perfume.
like perfume and aftershave. If you were going to cut down and rein in your spending completely, you'd be like, right, just wear deodorant. Well, you make sure you shower regularly so you don't need perfume.
Double up on the products you already have in your own home. Toilet duck.
Water down Zoflora, that would work.
Aftershave. Zoflora. Aftershave is essential. You've got to smell nice.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Deodorant's essential.
You're telling me if you're in a shop, right? You go into Tesco's and there's someone standing in front of you that smells like yesterday. You're telling me you're not going to be like, they should have put on aftershave?
No, I'd have been like, they should have had a shower.
What if they did?
What's the essential soap that you need to buy?
Oh God! I saw a question the other day that made me laugh. What, would you rather never be able to use toothpaste again, or never be able to use toilet roll?
Toilet roll or use toothpaste. I couldn't live with
You'd use toothpaste, but you wouldn't. What would you wipe your bum with?
Oh no, just go for a shower afterwards.
What if you're out in the town?
I'd hold it in to get home.
What if you couldn't hold it? There's been times. Don't tell me you've not had an accident in your life.
Oh, when I was pregnant, it never stopped, but I just never left the house.
But that's not an option. You have to leave the house. You can't still go about stuff, but you're not allowed to use toilet roll.
I'd get creative. Reusable cloths.
I mean,
Toothpaste, you just can't live without toothpaste.
but there must be
Imagine having
something
dirty
you could
teeth.
use as a substitute
Oh.
for toothpaste.
Like what?
I don't know. My mum used to squirt like washing up liquid in my mouth if I swore when I was a kid. I remember once she pinned me down and I wouldn't open my mouth and she squirted out my nose. Can you imagine getting away with that these days?
Oh no, I've always had a thing about, like, I always brush my teeth twice a day. So, see, when I was pregnant, I used to brush them up to 7 or 8 times a day. It was just a thing about them. My sister was telling me that she was having a dream that we drove off a cliff because I just never stopped. And she says it wasn't like panicky or anything, we just landed in the water, and she's like, oh, like you were supposed to stop at the end of the cliff.
Oh, I can't believe you've done this.
And I thought, I wonder how much I actually stress her out.
Well, I mean, after our little intro that we recorded the other day, I did question whether you'd ever legitimately got your license. Like, I imagine it was one of those ones, you know, you cut out the coupons and send off 5 and you get a free license.
I've never. Do you know something? I find driving boring. I can think of a million other things I could be doing if I wasn't having, like, focusing on the road. Like, there's so much stuff you can do in a car.
Oh, you've got so
like
many buttons to
eating
press.
things. Yeah.
I could be pressing all these
Yeah.
buttons, but I have to concentrate
But
on the bloody
it's
road.
boring, like,
But
what
do you
the-
like being a passenger?
No, I hate it. I would rather be in control of the car.
So you'd rather be driving than not driving, but you don't want to drive because you can't press the buttons and eat. And...
Yeah. But
What
I
do
don't drive because I'm not allowed to drive just now, but I would rather, like, I like being in control of the car. I like the independence, so that's why I passed my test, because I like the independence that drives you, that you get with driving. I think in this area as well, you need your driver's licence to be able to do things.
Yeah,
And as well, walking to Tesco's and back up without a pram, because my kids are all bigger now, to buy shopping is a bit of a bummer.
what you need to do is like get one of those like straps like camels have and stick it on their backs, and like they could, like a little donkey, and they can carry you shopping up the hill. I mean, between them, they've got to be able to carry a bag each. Do you know what I
I
mean?
could stick trailers to the back of their bikes or something.
Oh yeah, you can buy those. I think they're supposed to put kids in. Like you're supposed to stick it on an adult's bike and put the kids in it, but stick it on a kid's bike and put the shopping in
You
it.
could get like, but then you could do online shopping, couldn't you? It's just
Getting a
you have to
slot,
nip and get
getting a
something.
slot in the last year
Yeah,
has
I
been
know.
horrendous.
I know.
£6.
Aye.
£6.
And if you order before 10 o'clock, you can't buy alcohol. If it's getting delivered before 10 o'clock, sorry, you can't buy alcohol.
See, that's pretty.
I bet the pub opens at 9. It makes no
It
sense.
doesn't. But also, they have like a minimum bag fee as well.
Aye, but they don't give you bags. They only bag up your meat, your raw meat. See, the other thing is as well, see if you have like a McDonald's in your door and that, like how much do we appreciate going and getting McDonald's and KFC?
Do you have any idea how much money I've saved moving up here? And I buy a lot of crap. To a point where my postie asked me if I was up to anything dodgy. So I was getting that many parcels. He kept giving me funny looks. I don't buy nothing mega expensive. I just buy
Millions of little things that
yeah,
cost a pound.
aye, that's it. There's a website called Toys for a Pound, and the amount of money I can spend on toys that are a pound, it's unreal. But
And
like,
they break as soon as you get them.
well,
Are
no,
they okay?
some of them are good.
Oh,
If you won the lottery tomorrow,
yeah,
17.6 million quid.
okay.
Don't know why that's specific, but 17.6 million quid. Would you stay in the area?
Yes, I would just buy houses in other places and go visit them. I like travelling and I would like to travel, but I would like this as my base. Always.
Would you rent out those houses?
No.
So they'd just sit empty until you, Queen of Sheba, could...
But like once I'd buy 3 houses in different bits of the world and then spend a week in each over the space of that would be my retirement plan.
What, every month you just rotate?
I would have this as my base. Like, I think that I really like having the kids having like a stable base and being able to be like
Sorry,
in one place.
when you said that, I had in my head like a horse stable. I'd like the kids to have a
As
stable.
long as I've got a donkey, we'll be fine. No, I would stay here. I don't even know if I would move out my house. I'm so attached to my house because that's where my kids have grew up.
Have you seen the houses in White Hills?
I
Those
know.
ones that overlook the main road?
No, I wouldn't like one of them.
What?
No.
Bloody hell. You've been to Slains Castle?
No.
Oh my. It's like the best
You're
place
probably
ever.
about to mention 10 places that I've never been.
Alright, I like all these walks. Have you been there? No. Been there? No. Been there? Where have you walked? Tesco's with the kids and their little donkey packs carrying me shopping. Staines Castle. It's in Bodham, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Just the other side of Peterhead. It's like a castle on a cliff. So like you can stand in the window of the castle and look down the cliff.
Oh.
I mean, I imagine it wasn't always on a cliff. That'd be really bad, like, planning. I want this
Maybe he's
castle.
the architect.
Right. What an idiot. No, but it is amazing. It's so nice. And I hear that it's the actual official inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh.
I don't know if it's true or not, but...
Yeah.
Why is there a chicken in the
Somebody's
road?
lost a chicken.
Oh, I'm worried it's going to run out in front of me.
That's going. It should be in. Somebody's lost a chicken. Make a nice difference for a cat.
Right. Take pictures of it and stick it up. Lost chicken. It's got a tag on its ankle.
Well, must belong to somebody.
It's on house arrest.
I bet he's going to be home by 6.
I'm just worried about like wildlife coming out. Everyone tells me about all these deers that they've hit and stuff.
Oh,
I've never seen a deer.
I remember driving to Elgin. I'd crashed
Is
my
this not one of your
car.
amazing driving tour stories?
I'd crashed my car, and then the first time we got in, because I thought I've just got to get in the car and go. So I think it was my sister's car I borrowed. And we were driving up to Elgin for a McDonald's on like a Friday night or something. It was like 8 o'clock. And I was like, oh look, a deer! Bang! Into the side of the car. Well, the second deer hit the car.
So you were just, what, they were
I was
distracting
looking
you?
at the first deer, and the second deer hit
Oh,
the car.
God.
And I was like, what's the chances?
I mean, that's... What is that? Oh, God. Low fuel. This is going to be good. We were lost in the middle of nowhere. I don't even know where we are.
I'll be honest with you, this stuff happens to me all the time. My very first customer that I had, one of my grand's friends, and she told me where she lived, and I think it was about 15 phone calls, and 3.5 hours later I found her. She literally stays 10 minutes at a McDonald's.
How?
By the end, my gran was like, don't phone me again, Kimberly, you're just going to have to go and find.
So, you ended up getting lost 10 minutes out of Macduff?
Yeah, 3.5 hours.
How?
Driving down in circles. I could not figure out where I was at all.
Did you not think when you had like a 10 o'clock appointment, it got to 1 in the afternoon, oh, there's no
Oh
point?
yeah, I'd phoned her and apologised and everything. She was trying to describe where it was, still couldn't figure it out. Until I started jumping about the countryside, finding people's houses, that's how I figured out the area, like the layout of the area. But say, previous to that, I paid no attention whatsoever for some reason.
I'm bad with directions, but I've never been lost for 3 hours.
It took me 4 hours to get from Portsoy to the other side of Aberdeen one time. There was one time my dad stayed in
What?
Kemney, and I was driving home from Kemney, 3 hours.
Do you not
From
think it'd
Kemney
be...
to Portsoy.
You know when people like... When they first come out, everyone was raving about sat-nav and they were like 200 quid.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, how do you justify that? How do you justify that?
Well, I'm the reason you justify
In the
that.
last 3 stories, you've cost yourself, even at £10 an hour, you've cost yourself nearly £1,000.
At that time I got lost for Kemney, Harry's screaming in the back of the car, my phone was dead, and like when I got home and put my phone on, there was like heaps of missed calls because everybody had got involved because I'd went missing with the baby.
There's a search helicopter and you're just there crying in the bush because you can't find your way home.
I just kept going past the junction.
Well, you never read Hansel and Gretel as a kid? Like, they fought ahead and thought, do you know what, we're going to get lost here. Leave myself a trail.
Oh, what you couldn't do though, like fling baby nappies at the window so you know how to get... You should know how to get back. It's all main roads. It makes no sense whatsoever.
So it's not even like it was out in the country, you just ended up out in
Yeah.
the country.
Yeah. I remember in my driving lesson, and the guy, we were coming back from White Hills, and he's like, I want you to drive to the Banff Springs, and I was like, okay. And then I'm like, he's just telling me where to go for the Banff Springs. I just drove past him, and he's like, are you at the Banff Springs? And I was like, no. And he's like, you've drove past the Banff Springs? And I was like, oh. So that was probably a sense of it was going.
As we called it in the little intro, the weather is shit. Like, this is typical Scottish summertime,
Yeah,
but it's still nice.
it is.
Like, you can't not look at it and think, wow.
Yeah.
You sound really like, yeah.
No, see when
Aye.
you go somewhere else though and it's like cloudy and kind of it's just drake looking, and then you come home and you're like, oh, this is lovely.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, but I think you amp yourself up when you're visiting somewhere, or when you've got plans and you're going somewhere and you've got an idea in your head of what you want to do. Like you're visiting Landmark, for example,
Yeah.
and it's pouring. You're gonna be raging.
Yeah.
Like you don't go to Landmark every day. You see this all the time.
Yeah.
So you're kind of not that bothered by it being terrible weather.
No.
Because you're so used to it.
Yeah, we can do anything in the rain.
Oh, they're getting on with Bridge Street, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
They had like a quarter of it demolished. Is that the word? Yes.
Yeah,
demolished. Dug up. That's the one. For anyone who doesn't know, Kimberly's got a bright orange front door because she wanted to be different.
I just really liked it.
Did it cost you any more because it's bright orange?
No, it's the old door. We're about to get a new door.
Oh, she just painted it.
I just painted it.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I thought you'd gone and bought like a. Can you imagine going into
when I go and buy my door, I want it to be like teal or kind of something nice and bright.
You don't live in Balamory.
How nice is it just to have a splash of colour? Because the house is white harrowed with black edging. So to have a nice splash of colour is quite exciting.
See, my door's like metal.
That's, you can't even paint that.
Nah. I mean, you could, I suppose, if you sanded it and got
if I won
metal
the lottery, I'd buy a new door.
Would you? And new windows.
Yeah.
The windows
are
are.
match.
Well, all the window surrounds are metal as well.
Yeah.
It just upsets me, but it's so expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like. Oh,
have you ever had somebody come and sell you windows at the door?
I've had someone try and sell me windows at the door, but as soon as they give you a price, I'm like, no thanks, mate.
The survey things, I went on and tried that online. Like the survey things, you can earn like 15p a survey and it takes you 7.5 minutes. But I set up a different email address so I didn't spam my own account and then deleted it after.
Yeah, 15p for 7.5 minutes.
What's the questions about a product? You know, like, so they'd be like, do you go shopping? Do you go shopping monthly, weekly, or bi-weekly? What kind of products do you buy when you go shopping? Do you have kids? So then they pick one product and went into so much detail about it.
I find it soul destroying when it just, it's asking like which one's a zebra crossing to make sure. That stresses me out.
You're not a robot. Why would a robot be typing this information in?
Why is a robot trying to access my my very upsetting life in general?
Who would care enough to do that? I'm very mediocre.
So I think it's like that with the Windows salesman.
Yeah.
Once you let one in, they tell all their mates. They're like seagulls. You know, when you got chips.
Kill a spider and all the pals come to the funeral.
It's like when you're in the beach and you throw one chip out to one seagull because it looks lonely, and he's got 15 mates hiding behind the rock.
It's
He's going to share. That's what they're like, those Windows salesmen.
Yeah.
There's like 15 of them.
Yep.
And they're all waiting around the corner.
Sean just goes to the door and tells them that he doesn't own the house.
But surely they know which houses are bought and which ones are council. Surely that's like public information.
Is it?
I'd imagine so.
It's a bit mean.
What do you mean a bit mean? They're not
Who
doing it.
cares?
It's
Well,
like
but even if they do, they don't know that the house hasn't bought and then rented it to somebody, do they? They can't tell it's a buy-to-let mortgage, surely.
Oh yeah, good point.
I'm one of those people though, like, I would say stuff like that. I phoned Sky and Ken couldn't need to cancel Sky because I was determined to cut down the cost of my bills and I thought Sky was ridiculous. And we were going to do the Amazon Fire Stick, that turned into a nightmare. And then I phoned them, and so they don't try and get you back. You know, you get emails and phone calls and letters from your door, so I'm just going to nip this in the bud right here. So I told her I went blind, and I'd found out that my site was never coming back. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I was like, it's just, I don't want any mail about coming back. I'm really upset about this. And she's like, right, okay.
But how did they not think, how does she know it's from Sky?
4 months later, when we get so fed up about... because I'd only just went blind. I was watching Sky before that.
You knew the letters were from Sky. You knew the letters were from Sky because they smelt like the utter desperation to get you back.
Then 4 months later, when we got so frustrated with the Fire Stick that we didn't want it.
You went back to Sky.
Sky back.
And they've got a thing on the system saying, do not contact, she's blind. And they thought, they must have heard about Sky's awesome audio descriptions. That's the problem with lies, though. You need to remember. You need to remember your lies.
There's no point.
This is why there's no point lying about anything trivial.
No.
I say you have to lie about something that's so bad that
you'll never forget.
That you lied about it because you'll feel so guilty.
Yeah.
Because you make up one little lie. I remember once.
It always escalates.
I remember once when I was about 15. I told my friend I wrote this song. Because we were well into writing songs when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I told him I'd written this song because it was so good. And I thought I was like, I found this underground artist that no one had ever heard of. So no one had ever heard the song. Oh God, I'm cringing just thinking about it. So yeah, it was like an underground artist. I'd seen him play like a little gig to about 12 people. No one had ever hear him. So no one had ever hear the song. That person was Ed Sheeran. I saw him in like a little gig at Shepherd's Bush. There was about 12 people in the audience. And he sang this song. And I was singing a bit of it. And my mate was like, that's so good. Did you write that? I'm like, yeah. And yeah, that song ended up being You Need Me, Man, I Don't Need You. But it was just a little section of it. Because that's all I could remember.
Yeah.
But when you lie about something so stupid, you look like I'm going red. I can feel it. I cringe.
It was so pointless to lie.
It was such a silly lie, but it was like I was so proud of him for writing such a good song.
You just like to take the credit.
Right. I thought I loved that song so much. If someone else thought that I wrote it, they would love me so much. Like, what goes through your head when you come up with these silly things? Like, you told them you're blind. And then you had to go crawling back, tail between your legs. Like, how long was it? 4 months later?
Oh yeah, I just couldn't handle that fire stick. Ken, because you get so used to the Sky menu.
Nah.
Like, as my entire adult life.
I cancelled my Sky and I've not gone back.
Really?
Yep.
What'd you watch?
Netflix, Amazon Prime.
I've got that too.
One of my friends Netflix, someone else's Disney Plus.
Oh yeah,
someone else.
that.
Oh yeah. I'm not.
The entire family, like the icons keep changing on Netflix because it depends who's watching them. They'll put their own name in.
If you annoy one of your sisters, to just change into like Ursula out of Little Mermaid. That's her today.
You change the password so you can't get in.
Oh,
That's happened before.
yeah, to Kim's a twat. And then you've got to type it in like.
If you just like one person could pay for it, but then you could be paying for Amazon and they're
I do pay for Amazon,
Yeah.
and I let people use it.
Yeah.
The problem worries me is that because Amazon's like all
Hooked up to your
connected,
cards.
yeah, it's all connected. So my kids kept buying. Amy's terrible for it. She'll see a film out, it's only $1.99.
Aye.
But when you're buying 6 films a week for the kids,
Yeah.
and they're only watching 30 seconds of each one.
What I got bad for, I realised how terrible it was you know, when you go on, if you go into Amazon, you have to pay for it generally, you go into Netflix and it's free, or vice versa, you know, like the same movie.
Yeah.
But say if you're going on through the app bit in Sky to get to Netflix, to press it, and then, or Amazon even, because that's when you're going to pay for it, you click on it, and then it's like $1.99. I'm like, I know it's free on Amazon, it's free on Netflix, but you still buy the $1.99 anyway because you can't be bothered pressing the button 3 times to get
Absolutely
out.
not. I am way too tight for that. You've got more money than sense.
No, it's just like I reached new heights of laziness.
If I think of a film, I haven't seen that for ages, I want to watch that. I'll search Netflix, I'll search Amazon Prime, I'll search Disney Plus,
Right.
and then I'll call friends and see
To get
whether
DVD.
they've got the film, so that I don't have to buy it.
Really?
And I'll sooner spend £9 in fuel going to get the
But
DVD.
you go into the £1 toy shop.
And spend 60 quid on crap. Utter shit. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, does it?
Yeah.
I'll just buy that $1.99. But there are a few films I bought where like I buy to keep, like Ready Player One. So hyped for the film coming out. I waited for like 2 years. It got announced. I was like, oh! So I bought it for like 17 quid. Regret. I'll spend 20 quid on a takeaway, but 16 quid on a
It
film.
makes you feel terrible afterwards.
I know.
But £17 in a film that you might enjoy.
I don't know, I loved it. I love the film. It's just the fact I paid 17 quid for it. I was like, £17. Think of all the £1 toys I could get for that. 17 of them. Yeah, Toys for £1 is great, especially for like parents. A lot of parents, like I've seen all these kids with what's they call them, poppets?
Poppets, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're like a quid. And Toys for £1's a bit of a lie. It's like Poundland. You go in Poundland now, it's very rarely that anything's a pound.
Roughly, yeah.
Like-
Anywhere between 1 and 15.
I took a picture once.
Oh?
I took a picture in Poundland. They had a Poundland lorry. You know, like the little toy cars?
Yeah.
It was like a lorry with Poundland up the side, and it was a fiver. That's the noise I made.
That's like false advertisement in monumental scale though, because it even said it on the side of the toy.
Exactly. It was an absolute con, and I was heartbroken. Not that I wanted the lorry, just the fact that I felt like I'd been lied to.
Yeah.
But I don't even know where I was going with it. Oh yeah, Toys for a Pound's a bit. They've got like a lot of them for £1, but there's also like a £2 section, a £5 section.
Oh.
But they've got some great stuff like those Funko Pops. If you collect those, they're like normally about £10.
Yeah.
They've got like £3-4 on there. They've got some great stuff, and especially if like your kids, like Rudy, he doesn't ever want anything specific.
Yeah.
He just wants he wanted a snow globe for his birthday.
No indication as to what was to be on it.
No, just a snow globe. He wanted a SpongeBob costume.
Oh,
Well, do you know how much a SpongeBob costume costs?
a lot. No.
Like £30.
Is it?
Yeah, and it's basically like a glorified bin bag. It's like a
Yeah, it's just like
sticks out and it's yellow.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
Oh.
I could have bought a yellow bin bag, drawn a face on it, and he'd been happy. But he wanted it, we got him it. But yeah, he never wants anything specific. He wanted like a robot hamster or something, like a robot hedgehog. But his mama had already got him that.
Oh.
So yeah, so we ended up looking on this Toys for £1, just as little bits to fill in.
Yeah.
We bought him like this Lego Mario he wanted and a few other bits. But we found like those pop-it things. We found ice lolly maker. Do your kids eat like 1,000 ice lollies a day?
Was it beautiful like them?
We don't have an option. We was like, can I have an ice lolly? I'm like, you've been up 6 minutes.
Adam started, did you hear Kevin Bridges? And they're talking about when you see other kids on holiday and you've got the Scottish families and then like the English families and Ken like Tony that's 5 or something's like, Dad, he's a fag, and then you've got like Elliot in the swimming pool and he's like, Daddy, can I get an ice cream? So Adam started running about going, Daddy, can I get an ice cream? You kind of not give that an ice cream.
You kind of told half a story there. My brain, knowing what you meant, filled in all the blanks. But
I do
it
spend a
sounds
lot of time just like thinking of these funny things that other people have said when people are talking.
I do that all the time, and I'm really crap at telling that
Jokes,
story back.
yeah.
So like someone will tell me a joke, and I'll be like, "Oh, I heard this amazing joke the other day." I'll repeat it, and it just won't sound like I'll cringe.
Yeah.
I'll cringe at myself, and then cringe at them cringing at me.
Yeah.
Because I've told it so bad. I'm so bad for that.
I normally have to tell the end of the joke, which is the funny part, to remind me what the beginning of the joke was so that I can actually get the joke out, by which point I've totally ruined the entire situation. I might as well just sat there silent.
I remember once my dad was trying to chat up a bird in a pub once. I hope he doesn't see this. So she quite blatantly turned him down. And this was like February or something. So she said, "Oh, look, I think he was inviting her back to his."
Yeah.
And she's like, "I can't come with you. I need to go get my beauty sleep." And in a rage, he goes, "Well, set your alarm for October then." So me being me thought, "Oh, steal that. That's great material." The one time my dad's told a joke that was half funny. Normally he says like he's the sort of person who'll tell you a joke, and then when you don't laugh, he'll tell you it again because he thinks you haven't heard it. So I thought, I'll steal that. So it was New Year's Eve. One of my friends was going home. She said, I was waiting for it. I've been waiting for 3.5 years for someone to say it. New Year's Eve, we're out. She's like, I need to go and get some beauty sleep. Set your alarm for January. And I was only afterwards when no one laughed. I was like, it's literally January tomorrow. I was like, I just sounded like a really overly enthusiastic friend. Don't forget to set your alarm in the morning. I was like, what a fucking idiot. Right, I've gone round in a square now. So I think we're at a stage where we can start wrapping up.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Say it with enthusiasm, dear.
Yeah, no, sorry. That's my monotone put you to sleep voice.
Your bingo caller voice. 4 and 2, 42.
The other thing that's got a bit of excitement is the laugh in between.
The laugh makes me
Laugh.
happy.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, it's like the unbridled joy of a child.
Or sometimes if my asthma's playing up, I just sound like Motley.
Like the little penguin out of Toy Story.
Like Wheezy.
Wheezy.
Yeah, it's a bit like that.
But yeah, it's been fun. I think
Yeah.
it's been an interesting first episode.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you next week.
Hi, thanks very much. Give us a shout when you're free.
All right,
On the-
will do.